There it is. Okay. Hello. Oh, turn that down. Down. All right. All right. Let's see. Make sure all the cameras are working. Should always do that before. Okay. Perfect. Just move that here so we can see the goods. And we got this going. All right. Oh, let me get the chat going up. So today is let me make sure that was working. Okay, that sounds good. Today we're working on the Cubean. This little roaster, this guy. The small Skywalker. Although it's really different. A lot different from the other roaster. Different from the V1, V2, and the 1 kilogram roaster that I have over here. So yeah. Doing a few things, replacing this practice plate or testing plate. Because we've been putting like we're trying to find an optimal spot for the trier. So I think we're thinking about moving it here on the next go on when I get my drill bit and start drilling away. I think we're gonna place it right here next time because it still gets the beans on this side and it doesn't interfere with the lamp on the other side. So that's one reason why we wanted to do that. Let me double check chat on the other side. Just move chat like this. Just trying to see my chat screen so I can make sure I answer people's questions. Yeah, I mean, I could answer a few of those. You putting it in a V1 is what you wanted to do. Someone's asking like, they found oil on top of their electronics box, and ordered the worm motor. So I guess the first one is, which worm motor did you get? Did you get the brushless or the brushed? Because there's two kinds. They both kind of work, except you can't do like the brushed one. You can't do 500 grams on, and for a long period of time or at all. It eventually dies. And then you have the brushless, which is more efficient. Oh, I guess does it have 2 wires or 5? We'll switch to this one. Oh, no wire, so it's this one. It's the JG, and it's probably called the 24 volt or 60 RPM one. So that might be what you're looking for, is replacing it. So first of all, to get the worm drive on there, you're gonna need the mount, right? So after you need the mount, then you got to find a way to, where'd I put it? But you saw the picture of how Renato put it together in terms of the shaft, where you put like a little flange that goes on here, and then you put like some M3 nuts. Yeah, JG370. So yeah, that motor it'll work fine, and until it just dies, because it'll eventually die because of the heat. I had that on my roaster for about 5 months, running it at 500 grams, and then the RPM just kind of slowed down over time, and then eventually it just died. I'm pretty sure it's because of the amount of heat it makes. When it comes to worm drive motors, they usually they make a lot of heat because it's a really big friction based system. So if you were to pull it out, that's the worm drive. That's what they usually call the worm drive, because it moves forward and slides around and things like that, and rotates a gear. So that just makes a lot of heat. So one of the things you have to do is If you really want it to work well, you want to make sure it's cooling. Because if you notice the V2, they do have a fan. It's more than likely coming from the motor or the bearings. Probably not the bearings, but mostly just the motor. It's just, I mean, they put this. Hold on, let me find you a better one. Okay, here's the motor. This is your basic V1 motor. There's a lot of places where the oils can come from. If you can't find the drip marks coming from the exhaust, then it might be coming from this motor when it's overheating. Because you can find a picture online of this I think I put it on recently where the motor actually melts it gets up this like melts PETG plastic. So this one gets pretty hot. But anyways, yeah, the oil just literally like they just glob it on and then it just comes out of these holes. And it's right over the coffin. So that if it gets hot enough, the oil might, melt and then drip down there. I couldn't imagine it coming from anywhere other than the motor at that point. Yeah. They might gloop it on. I remember it was kind of a big issue before. And now I'm getting a lot of the drips on some of the units. But at the same time, they're coming from different places. Like you can usually find like drip marks coming from the exhaust on the inside or outside. Kind of just depends. Um, that's how mostly I could find the oil spots. And smell burnt plastic is probably the only thing plastic in the back is probably the motor of the gear. It's another one that gets super hot and can melt. This gear right here specifically. This is a melted one. It's not supposed to do that, like at all, because that gear melted. It melted. Well, it didn't melt. It got soft, and then eventually it just doesn't stop working. For the V1 or the V2, because there's no cooling fan on the V1. Yeah, there's no cooling fan on this. This is literally just it's in an enclosed area for the cooling tray. I mean that cools more of the drum than the motor. The motor itself is completely separate in the back chamber. You have no airflow going through that chamber, which is why it's like heating up and maybe getting the oils to drip from the motor. Because depending on the bean, there's a lot of moisture in the beans. So once it comes out, it goes out through the exhaust port, and then somewhere between the exhaust and your pipe, hot air is hitting a cold surface, and then that kind of causes condensation to occur. It cools the drum back. It doesn't cool the back chamber out. The back chamber is like you got like two holes. There's no active air flowing into it. They actually go above and beyond, and they have holes for like this fan in the back, and they literally just cover it up. You can do what some people do, and they just put a fan on the back and force air into the back chamber. Yeah, if you put I've been doing probe testing where I literally put a thermocouple in the back panel or in the back area, and I measure it during a roast, and that thing stays pretty hot even when the beans are cooling. It doesn't really do anything. Yeah, there's different back plates now. There is I can show you an old one and then a newer style one. They're both V1s. Ah, fuck. Where is this? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so this... Oh, get the camera moved. Oh. So that back panel, that's a V1, updated one. They literally taking the V2 and just, you know, they mass produce these, so why keep making the same V1 panel when you can use the V2 and one less laser cut to the USB port? That's all the biggest difference is that there's an extra port on top that they cut out. And then here's an old V1. I wish I say old, but this doesn't have that updated back port. And this is... There's another iteration where these fins went the other way, so they're introducing like liquids to get inside when it pours downwards. And it's not like it's a bad thing, it just doesn't... They just did that change so they could make it easier to mass produce those back panels. That's only the real difference. Bit rate is lower than 0. What does that mean? Sorry, I'm trying to manage this stream. It's always talking about like audio bit rate. I'm trying to figure out how that... Suggestion. Not really. But when I open the back, there's a slot under the drum cage, which I say it doesn't pull that much air through. It's actually pushing air. Let me see. So it's pulling air. I mean, you could pull all the air you want. It's still going to stay hot. It's better just to get cold air from the outside and bring it in. Cools it off better. Pulling hot air is not as like, doesn't have a greater cooling effect as putting cold air in. Even putting a fan in that back chamber, like I was trying to like just put a fan in there to circulate air. I literally just made a convection oven where I was just circulating hot air, and the heatsink was even raising up to like 90 degrees Celsius, even higher. It was literally just like circulating hot air in there, where it's better just to introduce cold air. Or if you can, like introduce cold air and then another fan to pull it out on the opposite side. Kind of like, I just like computer cases, like fancy computers. That's how they do it. That slot really doesn't do much. Yeah, you could do that too. It's really the best way to get out that the metal plate is literally use like a punch to open up. I just punched it out really quick and then flattened it back up, and then you could use that as a mount if you really wanted to do that. Anyways, I'm gonna go work on this because I still want to roast on it. I'm still doing a lot of we're still doing light roasting. So I'm switching this metal panel because I put a hole on this side, but I figured it went right over the probe and I wasn't really thinking of placement at that time. Surprise. So now, I mean, just the thing is, I have to remove this whole setup. I just got, I tried to do all my things in a drill. The only thing I can't do with the drill is drill this hole to make the trier. I actually had to use a drill press. But usually when I try making holes and I show videos of it, I try to use my regular drill. Because it's not really DIY if you need some kind of fancy drill. Even though a drill press isn't fancy. But one way, oh yeah, but the one way I've been cooling it is, do I have this set up? So this is how I'm using it on mine. I'll grab this camera. So it goes in like this. This is a, 3D printed case made of ABS. But I kept the distance away so the motor itself, because one of the cases had it like where the this plastic part surrounded it, and then it kind of melted around. And that was with PET G. I try to keep the distance away, make sure it doesn't get too hot, and then I have the fan over here blowing it towards there. This side connects to these fins, kind of, or these are not fins, but they're little air holes, and that lines up with this, so it gets cold air, and then it blows hot air or cold air through there to cool it off. Then I have this heatsink with fins, because I usually, the fins on a heatsink is what cools off the surface. And I'll probably put a heatsink there. And if I'm really desperate, then I'll put an opposite fan. So yeah, cold air gets pulled in through here, then hot air. I'll put a fan in here to blow hot air. But you can get through like 1 to 2 roasts with this setup. It's 1 to 2 roasts without the fan. By the time you get to the third one, it gets up to like 90 degrees Celsius, and the motor dies. Not dies, but it turns off. It has an auto shut off feature in the driver. But yeah, in case you want to do that. Oh yeah. Pricing. I usually just do $350 with then you have to pay for shipping. Probably only in the continental United States. I think the most I've ever had somebody pay for shipping was like $60 in Rhode Island. Yeah, $350. That includes the ESP32, and then I put the fan on the heatsink. It's just more of a safety thing. I think I'm considering selling more of my. I guess I get other units that are broken, but I'm considering adding like an RTD or thermocouple instead of the regular ones, because I have custom made thermocouples for the V1. And then maybe I have a lot of those drum motors, and once I get a better feel of how they work, I might be able to sell units with the brushless drum motor setup, but I'm not sure yet. It's so DIY, I really don't want to like sell that, because it's not like a legitimate manufacturer. CYA is the name of the game. All right, I'm going to pull this back panel out. I'm going to pull that wire out, and I am going to pretty much swap these panels real quick. Oh, and if you want to email me, it's I'll put the email address in there. All right, anyways, I'm going to work on the Cubean. I'm going to pull this back panel out. So I'm still chasing light roast now. I got into this whole light roast binge because of Val and Haha Sky. So now I'm like light roast all the things. And I want to prep this unit because I'm going to do a comparison. I'm going to get it back to like stock form because I'm going to do a comparison of this with the M1 Lite. Holy smokes. Let's see if this works. Gotta charge that. Anyways. And it's not going to be any kind of like crazy, ooh, you got to buy this roaster because this works a lot better. I'm fairly certain the Kaleido will be a lot better because they're just build quality. They're really good and they're an established brand. And they're starting to offer like roasters at like the M1 now. M1 Lite is like $699, so I think it's a pretty good deal. But at the same time, you get something pretty good like the Cubean, and the Cubean able to connect to Artisan with a little, just like not that much modification. You just need to buy like a ESP32 and a certain like make your own dongle. Or you could buy one off of High Beam. Yeah. Here's the panel. I'm just going to switch this out. Take this probe out. Also with the Cubean, I think it's a lot easier to there's a lot easier to modify. And it comes with a nice metal plate now instead of that plastic plate. Put that through here. So that just threads through there. And then that just goes from here into here. And then I'll just add the M3 nut on there. I want to do like just an upgrade of all my units to go from move away from the Phillips and get them all to be like M3, M5 with hex heads. Trying to find my blower's dead. Yeah, I'll blow it out later. So yeah, that's how you would just, yeah, even the probe changes for this is really easy. What I find interesting for the V1 or for the Skybeam or the Cubean is they actually do this thing where they added a fan to either, I don't know if it's sucking air or trying to cool that off, but I think it's blowing against there. I should actually see what side it's blowing air on because it might be just sucking air out. But you can notice that they start using the same lovely motor as last time, which is nice because that means you could add in the with some modifications. You could add in like the brushless motor as well. With the specialized mount. Anyways, let's go ahead and put this back. Oh, was there a fan in there too? Nope. I guess they could have put a fan on there. Although I don't have really thermal runaway issues with this roaster as well. Not nearly as much as the V1. let's putting this back together. Oh, what did I do here? Okay, so I'm putting the back panel back on, and then I am going to add the front panel back in. I left all the screws out. You really have to put them all back in. All right. So agitator goes back in. You just find the one with the weird oval flat sides, and you just put that right back in there. I probably should empty these beans out. I was doing testing with them. Just move this over. Okay. Try to charge this. Hopefully that's fast enough. All right. So now we're going to put the front panel back on. Oh, I forgot to plug the thing back in. Stupid me. So I'll take this back off. Wasn't really paying attention. I really don't know why they have so many freaking screws to take off. You only need like 4. All right, so I'll push this back through here. Let me get the top camera going on. This is so nice. Just like this little quality of life feature right here when you're working on it. They have like this little cutout. I can really show you. This little cutout right here. And it has like access to the board, and you can literally the first one right here on the side is this cutout here. This is the probe with the 2 white wires, and you can literally just like plug it right back in, and it's easy to it's so much easier to work on. Damn. I don't want to unplug it. I'll have to blow that out later. I think there's a third screw to hold that down, but I'll put that back in later. I have another V, I call them V0s, but I have another Cubean that it's completely torn apart. Just the way I like it. I'm taking this out. I'm going to probably drill another hole, then cover up this hole. Somehow, some way. Actually, I need to leave a mark. I need to make sure I put that as an interference point. Because if I'm going to drill the new hole upwards a little bit, so I want the hole like here and then up a little bit. But I got to make sure that I don't interfere with this part. Probably not a wise idea to use that color, but we'll use it for now. So when I do get this back on my drill press, I will make the hole, then I have to cover this hole up. So I'm probably going to thread something and put a bolt in there. Stainless steel, like a little nut or bolt or whatever. There's always something on McMaster car. So yeah, that looks good. So basically I want the hole there to be that diameter moved upwards because the beans, you imagine this is the middle of the agitator where it rotates and then it gets the beans and then, you know, pretty much agitates them. Usually beans fall over this way and they land right onto that side. Or if I do it this way, I got the probe in the way. I'm actually opening it and it's affecting the temperature of the probe, where this one won't affect it as much. I'm on this side. But we'll see. I'm probably going to send one of these to Set Consent and just make my own. Did they just really... Trying to see how they tack welded this on. Anyways, I'll look at that later. And put this on. And you could swap these out for M4 hexes if you want. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll put those in there. I think the longer ones go at the bottom. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we got that panel on. That's in there. We'll see if it works. I need to update the firmware on this one too. Perfect. Oh. This motor always sounds like that when you start it off, but when it starts to warm up, it actually gets quieter. Or if you just put a little pressure. But you don't have to do that. I can adjust the case. Can't tell if there's air coming out. Let me make sure that I didn't do the wiring incorrectly. Oh wait, let me cover this up. I'll grab the box real quick. Maybe it's not set up like the V1. Oops. Let me turn this off. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I just can't do it that way. It's not like a regular fan. It's like a little blower system. So it blows all the air out this way. I have to get my anemometer closer if I wanted to get an actual read. Okay. All right, I'm going to warm this up. Connect to high beam. Let me set this high beam, set up high beam through this towlet. We'll go to window. Cool. All right. Let's run through high beam. Let's add this in. M5 dial roaster. Cool. All right. Those are all set up. Let me get I guess I got the accessories for it. All right. That's going to warm up. I'm going to grab the gate for it. Okay. Let me fix this. What was I gonna do? I was gonna use. Oh yeah, I was gonna use the rest of this light roast. So I got this roast ready. So now I'm trying to do a light roast between a Nano 7, a V1, and then a Cubean. Trying to let them match. So I got about 118 grams on this one. Okay, so the rules are, I tried following last time. It might not work the same, but we're gonna give it a shot. There it is. Okay, so low charge. Okay, we can't fix that, so we're gonna have to do low charge temp. So I should bring this to 162, so that's gonna bring it up to there. Very minimal fan in the beginning, so I'll do 10 again, and then flat OR, make it like 2 flat hills, then jump up the fan during 50C. Heat is straightforward. We're gonna shoot for this. Oh, let's see. I got a question. Oh, today was just the Cubean. I got a bunch of, after this, I got a bunch of, to your machine and then somebody else's machine. I got to package up and bring it. I try to bring all my units in one day to, UPS. It's less pain in the butt. So on the machines you send out, are you changing out the drum motors? No, no, no. They're still the stock drum motor. And yeah, usually it's the stock drum motor I keep if I can, but then I'm gonna try to maybe do an option where, because I have units that have broken stock drum motors and I don't have enough motors, so I'm gonna start putting the other motors in, like the brushless motors that I have. So I'll probably do that with other ones later, but I still have to do a lot more testing with the case that I have to use with it, because if that case melts, then it's not really a good design. I'm trying to avoid like ASA melting inside that chamber. So we're gonna let this warm up, and we're gonna do the whole target charge temp, get it low. I'm gonna plateau it and see how it goes. And this is out of the realm of that, like, we're not doing the declining ROR. We're gonna shoot for these like new flat RORs, which you see a lot with radiant heat roasters. We'll we'll check this out. Well, while this warms up, we're gonna check out Rubase's website, because they literally tell you, like, they just kind of show you, like, this is how you should probably do it. So this is like the king. This is like the king of near infrared roasting. Oh, that's coffee roast cone. I don't want them. Not that they're bad. I just want to do base. Did I spell it wrong? I did. Base roasters. Yeah, if you look through all their marketing stuff, they do some roasts with like declining ROR, but at the same time, where's that picture at? Maybe it's on the mobile site. But you can check out their blogs. They have pretty good blogs to kind of like follow. I wouldn't necessarily say like it's perfect science or anything, because you still got to consider that they're a company that's trying to sell a unit. But they do have like a lot of these radiant heat kind of articles you can read. There's a good one on direct radiation, the secret. It was a pretty good read if you want to read it through, but you could tell like right here they're kind of utilizing that plateau ROR. They even mentioned like having first crack really short, like 45 seconds. So that's what we're going to try to do today. All right. I think that's been a few minutes of it. A few minutes of it warming up. So I'll put the beans in and we'll kind of hopefully get a light roast today. I'm going to try to shoot for, usually we do 60. This is a 118 gram roast. So I think we're going to shoot for about 50. We're going to try for 50 today, but I'm going to have the fan modulated to, we're just going to do it at 10 like we did last time. Although I don't think that doesn't really transfer well, because the fan setup is completely different, but we're going to do it anyways. I'm going to charge these beans in. I wish I had a funnel, but I don't. So I'm going to turn this off. We're going to set this to 50. Actually, I'm going to set it to 45. Okay, I'm going to drop these in. There we go. All right. So we got to add a low fan setting. We'll jump it up to the higher percentage later. We're going to kind of see how this does. I'm going to have to just mark off yellowing's phase at like 160, or I could try looking through here. I might be able to see it. The sight glass is a lot bigger, so I might be able to see it when it changes to the yellowing phase. We'll see. The struggle. Oh, I keep reading that stupid trajectory line, and it's kind of pissing me off. I'm like, oh, it's going to go downward trend, but it's like an upward trend. I got to ask Will about that, because it's like, it's kind of weird. Because I keep thinking, oh, it plateaued a bit, and then, or it dropped a bit, and then it flattened, and I'm like, oh, wait, it's still going up. That was just a predictor line. Oh, I didn't even put my airwave on today. Oh, well. Not to worry about that. All right, just ignore that bottom red line. It should be dotted to say that's like a predictor line. So that's, yeah, like the yellow line has it's dashed. You notice that it's a little bit more red. They use a ruby colored tint over the bulb, but I still think it's far infrared. They just put like a ruby coat around it for some reason. I think possibly for efficiency reasons. I'm not sure. Or they just had that amount of those lamps. All right, so this is running. This is kind of looking more like a convection kind of setup if it's going to decline like that. It's interesting. Can't see the yellowing yet. Okay, I think it's starting to plateau right there. We hit about 151. This is where I wish the Chiro was here, but I think we'll be fine. Oh yeah, okay. It's definitely yellow. So yeah, looks like very low fan. Flat ROR. Make it like 2 flat hills. Can't really make it like 2 flat hills. And I think first crack usually happens at 186 with this bean. We'll see. Like 118 grams might not be enough. It doesn't really cover the probe. All right, so Cubean's running. So just wait till, wait till, let's see. Wait till 186. It's a long roast. Here's where the temperature should increase, and I think this is where we start to see a little exothermic reaction for first crack is coming, I'm thinking. Yeah. There it is. Oh, that's a good first crack. So now I'm going to dump the air to like 60. And we're going to do it for like 45 seconds, and I'm going to drop it. Oh, and drop. It's looking pretty good. Oh, I should hit drop on that one. I can always fix that later. Oh, I can fix it now. Let's see. So the cool thing about high beam is we're going to fix that, my little mess up. I dropped it around the 50-second mark. There you go. Whatever, that works. There he goes. Then you can like look at the curve, see what happened. Well, there's that lemon. Right. I didn't do this last time, but I'm gonna go pull this out. Ugh. Take a few beans. So now, yeah, I have a dedicated my dedicated grinder for roasting, I guess. We'll put that in here. Actually, I gotta warm this up too. So let me warm this bad boy up. I can hear the crack. Yeah, I was able to hear the crack when first crack happened. Actually, around 185, 186 is when you kind of start to hear it. Another predictor people have been saying is like, oh, when you start to see the increase in ROR, that means more the steam is being released, so it's an exothermic reaction. So that should like bring up the temperature a little bit in terms of the probe. Now we're using this is a roast meter, open source roast meter. You build it yourself. Another DIY thing. Bean temperature is the red one, and then ROR is the yellow one. So when you're doing the roast, like, so you have TP, which is turning point. That just means it went from the temperature stop going downward, it's going into upward trend. That's all turning point it really is. People like to use that as like some kind of metric for something, but I kind of just I don't want to say I care, but it's like, okay, I might match it up if I'm trying to do a back-to-back roast. Be like, okay, I want to make sure those line up. If I wanted to do like if I'm trying to copy a profile, I'll definitely try to get the charge at the same time getting it to the point where like the charge and the TP kind of meet up. I know we're on a good like path of being like a consistent roast, but a lot of environmental changes factors change that. Like if you were to do this roast today and then tomorrow it's like 20 degrees hotter, you would get a different like probably a different TP turning point. But yeah, some people like to like use that for like roasting. I'm not sure how people like to use it, but I know they like to use it to like I think they wanted to measure like if it's going the right heat or something. The heat's going the right direction. I don't know. I just use that when I'm doing back-to-back roasts and making sure they're if it's consistent, like if I charge around the same area and then turning points around the same time, then I know at least I did a consistent roast starting off. Can't say it'll end that way. Then you have the dry end. And that's just the phase where it turns yellow. So that's where the trier would come in handy. I have to look through the hole to see if it turned yellow, and it's kind of hard because it's red. The red tint on it makes it a little bit hard to see if it turns from green to yellow. But some roasters even just count 160 automatically as turning point for a dry end phase for them. I mean, people like mention that, but it's like I feel like turning point is just gonna be wherever you land. It might be a good idea, like that's how you know when enough heat is being applied. But I just I don't even really look at it. I just know when the turning point's there. I just the bean temperature's going up. I guess it's concerning if maybe your turning point will like didn't reach like that 1 minute mark and it like jumped like 30 seconds all the way up. Then that could be like a bad probe or something. But I don't spend too much time on that. I actually spend more time on like the beginning phase, like from start to here. I'm always trying to get out of that phase as fast as I can, if I can. And then I try to stay in the dry end phase for as long as I can as well. Actually, I was in dry end for a pretty good while. Usually, you want like someone said like 4 and 4 maybe is a good start if you could try to reach that. Like stay within 4 minutes in the first phase, and then the Maillard phase stay another 4 minutes if you can, or at least they should be somewhat even. You don't want to spend too short of a time, I guess, in the giant or in the Maillard phase, because that's where a lot of the flavors develop. And that's where a lot of people will drop the heat so they could stay in that phase a little bit longer. Um, and your first crack, right? Your first crack, you typically want to stay like within a minute and 30 seconds, but brew base and everyone else is kind of doing this thing where they're like, yeah, maybe 45 seconds if you're shooting for a light roast because of all the penetration factors of infrared. Whether and then whether that's true or not, I mean, there's other people saying that it won't really matter. Those penetration factors, like it's supposed to be like 2 centimeters of penetration or 2 millimeters of penetration with depending on what bulb you use, but or lamp you use, but and there's other places that doesn't really matter because it's being agitated. It's not really getting in deep in the penetration factor, but Who knows? Just one of those things. And there's not too many radiant heat roasters out there, so it's hard to say whether, you know, what should we follow. There's only Rubase, and then Rubase, of course, they'll release whatever they want to release to make the roasters look good. So I'm always like trying to take it with a grain of salt, but I do have to realize that they're like the only people out there that kind of like post that kind of information. Yeah, there's a big thing. There's what a lot of people do, and it's not a bad thing or anything, but they just take what they learn from convection roasting and conductive roasting from those past roasting, like the historical information or whatever results they got from before, and they just apply it to this roaster, to a radiant heat roaster, and it kind of doesn't work that way because of how radiant heat works compared to convection. But it doesn't mean like declining ROR won't work for you. It just means like maybe there's other avenues you could roast that will net you the same kind of roast, but different way of reaching it. What statement I don't like is when people say heat is heat, the beans take heat however it happens. It's just like that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, heat will take the heat, but then it's the way that the transfer occurs is completely different. So that's yeah. Honestly, the best way is to just roast, experiment. If you like it, that's good. If you don't like it, what can you adjust to make it fit to something that you like? Right now I've been on this thing following this one because it's giving me these cups that are like how do you say, they are the cups that are really smooth, but still I could taste all like those light roast kind of taste, like the lemon I can taste with this roast. I had a cup this morning and I could taste a little bit of like the blackberry apparently. So it is, these flavors are coming out day after day. I'm gonna get going on my Agtron. I think I like when people who do iron pan and wok and poppers, I think they have like a better understanding it in the ways of like sensory, because now you're using your smell, your sight, your hearing when you're doing it, and then when you kind of get these machines you don't really get to learn that. I think you're at a better advantage when you roast on like an air popper, or even like even a manual machine, even like the hives. I think I'd put more emphasis on like the sensory stuff, like hearing things, smelling things, seeing things, because I think that teaches you more. Whereas if you get like an M1 light and you're like, all right, what am I doing? Just gonna fall and following profiles. I don't think that works as well to teach you how to roast, or at least learn the stages. Right. So with this one, it looks like we got an 88. So, and I gotta check the weight loss. I probably should have checked the weight loss before. Let's do that now. Yeah, that's the hard part with manual roasting, is it's definitely hard to stay consistent. I felt that way with the popper and the yeah, the popper, and what's the other way? Kind of with my Be More, but I think you can get a better result with Be More. I just was stupid when I was using it. So I got 118. Started off with 118. I got 100. I took about like 4 grams. So let's put that in. So I started off with one. Nope. $118 I started with. Ended with 104. Actually, 103. Put those beans in. How much are these? 100? So 101? I think I took like 4 beans. Okay, I'm making a big difference. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to pour these beans in here. Okay, so So 118. So remember 100. So I got 100. 102. Good thing I didn't guess. 102 to... Okay, so I did. So it is 103. 102.5. Okay. All right. So that was about the same amount of weight loss I got last time. So the first one I did was 13.3 and 13.2. Now it's 13.1. So it's within that 13% weight loss. So the nano is at 10 was 13.3 or 2, I can't remember. They're pretty much like a 0.1% off of each other, so it's within 13% for this light roast at 88 Agtron. So I'm gonna put that in. Oh wait, there you go. Let me see what color value I get if I just put the beans on there. Oh, so I found another reason why I like doing light roast is because I could, like Mr. Noah is saying, is like the amount of time you're gonna have so much. Yeah, it would be waiting. So at least I know I could wait on these beans a month out. So that's a plus. So that's the nice thing about light roast is like you could wait like a month or two and then see what they taste like, and you might actually taste better. I don't think that's how it works, but we're gonna pretend like that's how it works. I'm getting way too many different values. I'm just gonna not do that. We won't do surface color. I'm just gonna leave that 0 for now. Confirm. All right, let's go taste this. Crazy little desk setup. So I picked something up from this guy. You might know him on YouTube. His name is Hoon. I don't know if you ever heard of him. But I went to his Discord and I bought his unopened X Bloom. So I'm gonna set that up because it's 11:03. Got to pick up my kid at 11 or noon, and then never mind. I can't drink anything right now. I have an MRI coming up. I had an MRI at like 1 o'clock today. Well, that sucks. Well, guess I'll be tasting it after my little test. So small. But yeah, I picked up an X Bloom from Hoon, so I'm gonna set. I got two now. So I could do comparison roasts, so they could run at the same time, and I could like taste them after and get a better representation of what I'm tasting. Sometimes I'll drink something, I'm like, oh, I don't like it because it's too hot or it's too cold, and it's like I need to have them to be the same temperature to kind of really kind of see what I like. That's just comparing to the same beans with different roasters. So I got, let's see, I have one that's from the V1, one from the Nano, and now I have one from the Cubean. I got them all light roasting today, and I had them all the same Agtron close. They're all like one off. So this is 88. I think the one on the Nano is 87, and then I think the one the V1 is 86. And then the weight loss, they're all 13%, but like 13.1, 13.2, and then I think another 13.1. The Nano so far, the Nano and the V1, they taste similar. I can't really discern which one's which, but at the same time, I wanted to use the two X Bloom so I could really taste the differences between each of the two. Although now it's kind of hard because there's like a day rest. I really want to try this, but I gotta wait. I'll wait till after my appointment. Yeah, I think I'll do it. So I don't know. Oh, then next week I need to get another like large order of beans because I'm gonna start doing I got this back to like close to stock, so I'm gonna have it do comparable roasts with M1 Light, which I think I get tomorrow. And then I get a regular old M1 next week on the 24th because I found someone selling it for a pretty good price, and I figure I could just resell it after. So I probably just sell it for like another 500. So yeah, if you want to wait for next week and you really want to like buy, if you're really in between like a Kaleido or a Sky or a Cubean, you could at least wait to see what those like what next week up holds. I'll do a lot more comparison between those. I'll do three. I'll even include the Nano. I feel like I'll find a profile on Nano with the whatever bean I get and try to like compare it with all three. Just hard to see what kind of criteria am I looking for. Is it going to really just be the best one that's a light roast? I'm not sure. But they are different prices. So it goes like Nano is 1,000 something. I think 1,200. Cubean's about 300, and then M1 Lite is 700. But if you need to tell your wife, it's $699. So basically $600. It's a deal. Are they still 600? That's based exactly. Flying happens like that's basically free. It's free. Well, the old M1 I got is was 500. Somebody had an M1 there selling on the home roasting group. So yeah, I'll pick that up. I'm going to test it, and then I'm going to sell it probably. Because I definitely have enough roasters to go around. But curiosity is that has really gotten me. I mean, the point where like, well, what's really better? Is the Kaleido really that much better? It might be in terms of quality. You definitely have to repair it as much. You're just screwed when the warranty's over and it does break, because they do break still. Ooh, let me double check. Work email. Work's been kind of slow. I have 2 per diem jobs, so. Well, 3. Not 3. I'm a full-time dad and then 2 per diem jobs. We need help during the 520 to 620 floating 4-week schedule. Okay. But I think a lot of people eventually just get a Skywalker and then they use it and they kind of like it, and then they'll upgrade right to something bigger. Like the M10 is usually what people go for, or the Bullet is another one that people are really good for. Or someone just go crazy and they'll get like a gas unit, like a Mill City, go full kilogram roasting. Not even a kilogram, like 4 kilograms. That's usually kind of the pathway. Although I have convinced some people to start doing like smaller batch roasting. I think it's more fun playing with profiles. Because I always make a bean and I'm like, oh, I made 350 grams. I'm stuck with that shit for like a week, 2 weeks. I'll be good. I hope the commodity prices go down. The prices are getting a little crazy for me. Like I think I went to like Nugget and the prices for like this bag I used to get went up by, I think it was like 20, 25 bucks or something. Went from like, I used to buy it for like 16. I think it was Verve. It's either Verve or what's the other place called? Temple. Like a standard like 1 pound bag or something. Not 1 pound. It's this not half a pound. I forget what bag size. Like the normal bag size is like this. Always forget what this size is called. Like is 1 pound? Is this 1 pound? I'm so bad now because I switched everything to grams. I don't use pounds anymore. Now I'm all like, it's about half a kilo, maybe more. Like when I tell people like, how many pounds of coffee you roast? And I'm like, about half a kilo, maybe a full kilo. What's that in American? A pound? I should clean this off. I'm not gonna dead soon because if I roast anymore, I'm not gonna make it to pick up my kid. I should have just roasted. Yeah, what's that in freedom? What's that in American units? Oh. God damn, does that like not get in there anymore? Oh, I just did a 100-gram roast, not 150. That's why there's not enough, like a lot of chaff. Oh, green box. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start packing your roaster. I got the box here. I should move everything aside before I start breaking things. That's what I need to do. I can taste later. I'll drink coffee later. I gotta focus on getting this going. Then I get these out I want to get these out by the end of the day. I haven't printed out your label yet, so don't. I'll get this camera out the way. Yeah, I got like 30 more minutes, so if you got any questions, let me know. If you want to go over anything, let me know. It may not be the best source of like roasting knowledge, but there's someone out there in the Discord that is. Or on Facebook, although I don't know. There's a guy on Facebook that's constantly telling me like the plateau ROR is not the way to go. And I'm like, but I'm tasting it. And it tastes good. So therefore I win. I think the most egregious thing is when people like look at your profile and they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's baked. Oh, I could taste the roastiness of it." Like, all right, calm down. No, you can't. Yeah, I feel like that's like the whole thing I'm learning is basically like things are different. People have different tastes, preferences, and there's really no one method to rule them all. But I think it's the whole, everybody likes to do a little bit of fanboyism. As one guy was like, "Oh yeah, I did a blind tasting with me and my wife, and we just found that we could taste every flick and crash." I'm like, all right, bro, whatever. Okay. I'm just telling you what I'm tasting. I'm not trying to convince you. Well, actually, I am kind of convincing people just to try a different thing. And the more like production roasters I meet, the more I get a good sense of like a few of them just don't give a shit about like graphs. They're like, oh, what is your ROR at? I'm like, I don't know. Do you have a decline? I don't know. I just put it in there and then I smell it. And then if it smells good, I just kind of keep flowing. And sometimes I could smell when it's too hot. And I can't complain because the guy is selling bags left and right. I can't be like, that's not how you do it. But it's like, that's how he made his business. He's obviously doing better than I am. Yeah, I always ask like roast. I went to like Yeehaw Coffee and I'm like, oh, so when do you do it? So how do you know if it's a dark roast or if you want a medium? He's like, I just get it to first crack and then I wait. Okay. That or you could just be not wanting to tell me the secrets, right? But most of the roasters I meet, I talk to, like production roasters and the guy who sets the profiles, they've been pretty nice. There's only one place I had in Sacramento where they're kind of like a jerk. I won't say who they are, but it was kind of like, oh, don't ask me questions. Okay. And one thing I distinctly remember is when he was when he dropped the beans and he was looking through them and he starts picking them out, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong with those beans? It's like, oh, they don't all come out perfect. Some of them are a little bit burnt most, and some of them just kind of look ugly, and I just go after them. There's definitely a nerdy side to it, or more of like a when it comes to roasting, there's like a group of people that definitely have like a certain way around it, more technical aspect, I guess. But I'm always surprised when I get like that roaster that's been doing it for 20 years. It has a successful like successful company, he has or successful cafe, and he's selling his beans, and you just always like, oh, I could smell when something's wrong, or I could see it. Always find that pretty amazing. Where's your roaster? Where's your oh, your high beam unit is over here. I just gotta find the green cover. Actually, I'll print one out in black. I don't like dude, it's hard for me to say I didn't use my airwave, and now all I smell is like it's smoky. I'm trying to smell, but all I smell is like it smells sweet. That's weird. Right now they kind of smell. Well, I don't know if I'm smelling. It's like I don't know if I'm smelling the beans or I'm smelling what I ate for breakfast. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna I've been putting him in these cases, but I'm gonna stop using these cases in preference to this case. So let me know if you want a color. I'm only doing it because I like the button aspect, so you don't have to pull the whole unit out to press these two buttons, and when you need to reflash the firmware, you would just slide this in and then you would just be able to flash the firmware like that. This one's kind of like a pain to print, where this one is like one print and then you have the access to the buttons, which I really like. Yeah, you know, it's gonna be hard to take out. I'm just gonna get you that. But let me know if you want a black one. I'm gonna print a bunch of black ones out next. Yeah, they usually just slide in right here. And you're able to press the buttons and they're good to go. But I don't, the green ones are kind of ugly, so I won't send you that one. But I'm going to get the other stuff in. So I got the gate. You need a scoop. A gate, a scoop, and a stir stick. Here's a stir stick. I find these two very crucial. And a stir stick. So I put those in, stir stick. I gotta put your controller in. Let me grab a controller. So I got your controller. I don't like putting it inside there anymore. I just leave it on the outside so it can bump around and get those springs moving over the place. But yeah, if you do have issues like pressing it, just kind of tap it a little bit. The worst, if it gets any worse, you might have to like unscrew these four and then take it out and then adjust the springs and then put it back in. I am definitely getting a lot more return units, or they look like they've only been used like they haven't used it at all. And I had a hard time just pressing the on button to get it to go. But then it works just fine when I adjust the springs. And it's basically a brand new unit. So it's like they probably need to fix that. Let's see. I'll even leave you a manual. Sometimes they don't return the manual, but if you want it, I'll leave you the manual. It's online as well. Oh, and the beans. Let me roasted you some. These are returns from Precision that sell them on Amazon. They just, I guess, I kept asking for them and they just kept sending them to me. For like a pretty decent price. Sometimes you can find used ones on Amazon. And the used ones still come with the warranty, apparently. I was kind of surprised with that. I was able to guilt them a few times to be able to send me a few bulbs for people that like had broken ones, which is kind of cool. I don't know if they'll do that again, but yeah. And I actually have to find. I have a messed up one that I need to give someone for the Roasted Forward program. So those ones I don't test if they roast. I just make sure they turn on, and maybe the bulb turns on, or lamp turns on. That's about it. I don't put too much effort onto testing them. And then I just I hope that they'll like add their own mods. But yeah, I have more units again. I know when I have more units, when my wife comes in, she's like, "Oh, girl, I was getting a little cramped." Oh, and then I'll get you that filter. Oh, all right. So it comes with two of these exhaust pipe things, which I think is really nice. Oh, the controller. So put that in there. and the filter fan. I don't know how much you like it, but I'll let you use it and you tell me how it goes. Did have someone try to return it, and they were like, "The filter fan doesn't work." I'm like, "Oh no, that's how it's made. Filter fan never works." So put that in here. Let's go up higher. That's good. That's good. Some beans. Ooh, these are oily. You like dark roasts? I think it's a medium. All right, so I got to reprint out those cases. I'm gonna do it in black. Oh, you do like dark roast? Perfect. If you like dark roast, you might want to look into like trying to get the Skywalker to dark. I have done it a few times, and what did I do it with? I forgot what bean it was, but it tasted like a field on fire. Oh, I don't know if I liked it. Whoa. Okay. Oh, you trust me. I need to do that as much as everybody else. Which is why I like High Beam, because it acts as my like roasting journal. I can write stupid notes on it, like tasted like grass, tasted like Skittles, tasted like. When I was doing co-ferments, I was like, I gotta write these down because what I'm tasting is insane. Yeah, the co-ferments would be like gummy bear, and it would literally taste like a gummy bear with no sugar. I was like, this is kind of weird. Put that in there. That's good. What else? Yeah, just the case. That's one. Somebody else wanted the unit. Oh, Brian. Bobby Simmons. How to talk with you about pricing on any of your units. Bobby and anybody else, if you want to know the pricing, it's usually $350, and then shipping is about, depends on where you're at. I think the highest I'll get is 68. 60? 68? 60? I can't remember. I have to look at my thing before. Maybe 68. I did send one to, I think I sent one to Hawaii. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Mic died. Gotta get a new mic. This is my backup mic. My Holly Lands. Let me double check if it's the same on here. Show more. Venus Live. There we go. Okay. I cut out for a minute. I forgot I didn't charge these last night. I gotta make sure I charge this. I'm trying to think of what other thing I should do for the next session. I've done a bunch of repairs. Just guess keep roasting with different roasters. All right. I am going to call it quits here. But yeah, If anyone ever has a question, feel free to email me. I think it's blemcrafted@gmail.com. If you want a unit, let me know. And then I'll see what we can do. But it's been 2 hours. So I'm gonna head out and pick up my kid, and I will see everyone next time. Next Thursday, um, will be the comparison day, unless I get a day off of work. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go on my other job. Oh, and I'm gonna try to send your thing out today. I'm just gonna start my printer so I can print out those cases, and then I'm gonna load that in, wrap this up, and I'll give you the address, or give you I'll print out the label and slap it on here.